Welcome to the Marketing Impact Podcast with your host, Mike Wood from Legalmorning.com, providing tips and the latest trends in the world of marketing.
And welcome to Marketing Impact Podcast. This is your host, Mike Wood from Legalmorning.com. And today we're going to be talking about small businesses and small business marketing. More specifically, we're going to be talking about non-technical ways that you can boost your online visibility as a small business. Now, I've owned several small businesses, and before getting into marketing myself, it was a pain to think about going online or trying to learn all the technical skills required to market yourself online. Thankfully, you don't need to do that. There are a lot of ways that you can actually boost your visibility without having to get a degree in computer science or without having to get too technical on it. Now, my guest today, is Lauren Edvalson. Did I pronounce that correct?
You did.
Okay, she's from Edvalson Marketing. It's her own marketing agency. She specializes in SEO, WordPress, search engine marketing, and small business marketing. So how are you doing today, Lauren?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Mike.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you coming on. Now, I think the first thing people want to know is, just basically, if I'm a small business owner and I'm scared to death to get online,
right?
What is the first thing I can do to get over that initial fear? How can I get to that next level?
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. I see that a lot. And so a lot of small business owners, and maybe some of your listeners can relate to this, they just don't do it because they are not sure how and, really where to start. So one of the things that I always, teach my clients is they need to have visibility. In order to have visibility online, they need to, set up all their social media listings, set up all their directory listings, and it's not as scary as it may sound. There's, definitely ways that you can outsource that for, an expensive rate and, people that you can hire to do those types of things for you. But, don't skip over that if you're, afraid or just, not wanting to take it on yourself. Like that part of it's really important to online visibility nowadays.
Okay, perfect. And let's get into the directory listings. For the social media and directory listings, what can people do?
Yeah, so there's some really great tools out there online. First of all, I would say for, social media profiles, which is half the battle, go through and hire somebody, get a college student or somebody that's, really comfortable within social media and have them go and set up all your profiles. That's number one. Number two, again, if you're on a tight budget, you don't have the budget for an SEO company or a marketing person to come in and do these things for you. The directory listings are a great place to capture some visibility. And I'm talking about the good ones, not the ones that are, back in the day when, black hat techniques were to, put your website on every spammy site out there. We want to skip over those ones and just go for the good ones. So
$5 for 500 high quality links. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. If you get an email that says I can rank your website on first page of Google, for $100, just delete that.
Yes.
But the one thing that you'll want to focus on is the good directory listing. So start with, actually, believe it or not, Facebook is considered a directory listing by in terms of, setting up your links that go into your website. Google Your Business page should be your first priority. It's called Google My Business now. It's had multiple different names. It used to be, it's tied to your Google Plus page. So those two things are really important. And then once you've done those two things, make sure that you have a matching phone number, matching address, everything's matching on those two things. Then you can go to Moz.com. And I'm just going to preface this by saying I'm in no way affiliated with Moz by any means. I use them a lot for my clients, though, and they have a pretty good platform. And their platform is Moz Local. And so for $89 a year, once you set up your Facebook and your Google My Business page, you can go in and say, okay, go ahead and feed all this information, the same information copied out to like Better Business Bureau, Super Pages, Judy's book. You'll have to set up your Yelp account, which is another directory listing, but it's an automated way to kind of keep everything consistent online and pointing back to the same website. So.
Absolutely, and I love that site as well. Moz, if you're not familiar with it, they do a lot of listings for you. It's, I think, less than $100 you can pay them, and they go out and they do everything. You know, I use them as well, and I don't get paid to promote them. If that tells you how good they are, you have two people on the podcast now promoting a site that we actually have to pay to use. So very, very, very good tools there. And they're one of the most reputable in the industry. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the market industry who doesn't know who they are. So I'll make sure I include a link to that on the one sheet for the podcast. So when you're done here, you can go and search that. But I'm glad you bring up hiring somebody to do this for you. Like, back in the days, we used to call them wonks. You know, you would go out and find a wonk, somebody who would specialize in, IT or computers, specific computer skills, and you would bring them in and pay them and just let them do their thing. Nowadays, there's a lot of people who are very tech savvy, and if you're not tech savvy, it's not a big deal because there's a lot of people who are. So you can do a local college, you can do Craigslist, you can do freelance site, Elance, Freelancer, and just make sure that you're doing the quality directories, especially social media, Facebook, Twitter. They not only help you promote your business, but you're getting backlinks to your website, which, of course, is a different podcast that we have here, but all around it's pretty good. Now, let's talk about reputation marketing.
Sure. That's one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah. Why don't you give an overview for everybody listening here? I mean, I have my take on it. I'd love to hear yours, and we can go from there.
So, there's different schools of thought definitely on reputation marketing, and, there's definitely been, reputation management has been out there. That term has been out there for a very long time, which is, in my opinion, taking the reviews that you're getting and responding to those and managing them and, getting feedback out there on your Yelp or your Angie's List or your Better Business Bureau listing. And that definitely is its own effort. But as far as reputation marketing goes, and depending on what type of business you are, most reputation sites like Yelp are not set up for positivity in most industries, unless you're a restaurant, right? Because people go to restaurants and they take a picture of their delicious meal and they're like, this is a 5-star restaurant and I love it here and I want to share this with all my friends, right? But if you're in a service-based industry, like a lot of my clients are dentists or home improvement companies, nobody cares if they had a great visit from their plumber. They're kind of annoyed that they had to pay $200 to get something fixed, and it's not something that you're going to run to the internet to brag about. So I encourage my small businesses to get on board with, reputation marketing, where they're, asking their customers that are really happy, that are loyal, that have been customers for years to, give them some feedback online, whether that's on Facebook, because you can get 5-star reviews there, and that's getting a lot of attention from Google now, or, on your Google Plus listing, which is always a good place to get a review, or even, like I said, Yelp or Angie's List. So those are kind of the big dogs. But, it's across all platforms that you want to have your customers, giving positive testimonials for the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to point out for everybody about reputation marketing is reputation marketing is part of an overall reputation management type industry. And when you're talking about reputation management, there's two things. There's brand management and then there's reputation management. Now, reputation management is dealing with negatives online. People call me and say, hey, Mike, we just got a negative review on Angie's List or Yelp. What can we do? We're on Ripoff Report. And I ask them, well, what did you do before that? Because brand management is something that you need to take care of all the time. And by brand management, I mean you need to get as much positive out there about your brand before any negative hits. And a good example of that would be Chipotle recently. I mean, Chipotle has taken a big hit in the media lately because of the E. coli and the various health aspects. But, when you originally read the report that E. coli was found at Chipotle, I think the majority of people who read that kind of went, what? They kind of scratched their head a little bit. And the reason for that is Chipotle has spent years building their brand as a healthy, nutritional brand, and by the time that, negative press hit, people were, they initially questioned it, like, no, this couldn't really happen to Chipotle, could they? So, it's very important to get ahead of the game and get as much positive about you online as possible, because when a negative finally hits and you don't have anything positive, the negative is what everybody's going to see. So.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that, the more 5-star reviews that you have online, the faster those directory listings will pull ahead of competitors, and that gives you more visibility in search. So for SEO purposes, it's really, really important nowadays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, now let's talk about public relations, the elephant in the room. Now, I have a lot of PR clients, people from public relations companies that actually use me for Wikipedia marketing, and dealing with Wikipedia, I get slammed quite regularly by the bureaucracy there about public relations. But let's talk about how it relates to small business here.
Totally. So I don't want to offend any of my PR colleagues out there, because I have friends that have degrees in PR that are amazing at it. And so I wouldn't call myself a PR expert, but when it comes to SEO, nowadays you have to have, like PR light under your belt, which is like being able to get your clients listed in, publications, in blogs, in industry, articles, things like that. So one of the things that a small business owner can do on their own without hiring an SEO company is, just start networking with your local reporters. That's super, super powerful when it comes to getting a link back to your website, because anytime a local reporter covers something, about your business, let's say, you own a pest control company and you want to do tips on how to, manage pests in the winter, that kind of thing. So you would pitch that, like reach out to a local reporter. All of their email addresses are listed on the, let's say it's a television station. All their email addresses are listed there. So you can go and, email a couple of the reporters that might be a fit for, and just send them a pitch and say, hey, I have an idea for, for a segment, and I would love to, pitch this to you and, be able to schedule something with you this coming Saturday or whatever. Those reporters are always looking to fill their pipeline. So if you're not, hassling them about it and you're really thoughtful about what you think the segment should look like, they will definitely work with you to get something on the calendar, and then you build a relationship there. So, I think it's, it's less of knowing how to write a really good, pitch to a reporter and, having a fancy press release, and more just building relationships nowadays. So, you can reach out to reporters on Twitter. That's another great place to connect with them, but they're also looking for stories. So if you can bring them something quality, that's a good place to start.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up about always looking to fill a schedule, because a lot of people look at PR as evil. Oh, the reporter's going to say this, the reporter's going to say this. No, they have a job to do, and they would love the help. Believe me.
Yeah.
So PR outreach is great, and make sure to follow up too. I mean, don't just send an email. Do a phone call. Send a follow-up email if you don't get a response. Or one thing I do is I get rejected a lot. Go figure. But when I get a rejection, when you get a rejection, I don't just file the email or delete it. I respond. I say, hey, thanks for rejecting me. Sure. I'm still here, by the way, and if you do need anything, let me know about it, because out of the 100 rejections they sent, I'm probably one of the few that they're going to remember, because I said, hey, thanks for rejecting me. Please still keep me in mind, and I'm still going to bother you in about 3 or 4 months from now, just to follow up. So,
yeah, and those reporters might be in sweeps or doing something at the time where it's not necessarily rejection. It's just hey, this isn't the right fit for us right now. And they may tell you that. And so don't be afraid to go back and circle back with them, and, go to local events and try to meet up with the reporters that are there, at local social events. And that's a really great place to start in terms of getting yourself some, local PR and getting some really strong and super powerful link backs to your site. I mean, that's great for SEO.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to give a little tip here without charging people for it, though. A great thing to do is watch your local media and look for a story that may have anything slightly related to what you do. And the second you read that story, find the reporter, find their email, which is easy to do. Just go to the website of the TV station or the newspaper and send them an email and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I read your article. I own this business, and it was really helpful and useful to me. And just leave it at that.
Absolutely.
And kind of get that relationship started, because what's going to happen is next time that reporter has a same or similar story, and most reporters do write along the same topic, they're going to say, hey, I got an email from someone after that. I wonder if they'd be able to help me out. And you will get a lot of press that way. So.
You're so right. That's right on. Because they, once they have your contact information, they want to store you away. Go, how can I lean on them in the future when I have, 2 or 3 stories to fill that weekend, or, there's always opportunity for them to connect with you in a later date. So that's a good idea.
Absolutely. Now, everything we talked about here actually costs you nothing unless you decide to go with Moz and pay $100 to get your directories listed, or you want to hire a wonk. So, and when you go to these sites such as Facebook, Twitter, they're very easy to sign up, even though some of them have different information that they're going to require. It's pretty simple. Fill in the blanks. So, if you have one person in your business you can assign to doing this, it'd be great. If you have a local company, and don't be scared to reach out to a marketing company. A lot of new businesses think, I don't want to call it Velson Marketing because it's going to be so expensive. Yeah, you're going to be surprised at what it will cost you to spend a little bit each month to get your presence out there without having to worry about wasting your time. So
absolutely.
It's not as expensive as you think. It's not Hollywood. It's a small business, and we stay in business catering to small businesses. So we understand that as well. So, well, Lauren, I'm going to give you the last minute. Anything you want to say to the guests, or about yourself, your company, or any of the topics we talked about? As long as you're not using foul language, I won't cut you off.
Darn it. Okay. Well, I started my career in marketing several years back, actually about 10 years now. I've been putting digital marketing plans together and, traditional marketing, newspaper, things like that, direct mail for many years. And so I found that I was getting the best results out of digital for, the company that I worked for. And I was with them for the last 4 years as a larger size business in the HVAC industry. And so I had a really great experience there, but I kind of got to the point where I was like, it's time to move on. I think I can, branch out on my own, and I always wanted to own my own business. So I took the leap, and, I've been in business just almost a year now. And, in that time, I've been able to, like you said, Mike, help a lot of small businesses. So it's finding those clients that, are not only I'm a good fit for them, but they're also a good fit for my company. And I know I can help them to, expand their reach. So, my company we build WordPress websites, that attract, clients, and they're built for SEO. We do SEO campaigns, and then we do paid, like Google AdWords marketing. And so, that's kind of what we're all about. But, I actually wrote a blog post about, the topic that we were talking about today. So if anybody is interested in taking a look at that, it's at my website there, edwilsonmarketing.com.
Okay, perfect. And I will include a link to the website as well as the blog post as well. I really appreciate you being on, Lauren. It's been great, a lot of valuable information. And again, if you have any questions about this podcast, you can go to legalmorning.com /podcast, or you can just go to the website and enter the information in the search box. And until next time, this is Mike Wood from Legal Morning, and thanks for listening to Marketing Impact.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Impact Podcast. For a copy of the information from this podcast, please go to legalmorning.com and click the podcast tab. Until next time.